Hey everyone, Lindsay Riddell here with Sunny Boy here at Heritage Stables, and I just thought I'd stop and do a really quick video today, just an informative video on something that I end up showing a lot of my students. It's a pretty simple technique for switching your whip from one hand to the other, and it's pretty standard in dressage to do it this way, but I see a lot of young riders and adult amateurs who have a couple of different ways of doing that are not quite as efficient. It jeopardizes how they hold the reins in their hand, their arm position, things like that. So I thought I'd just take a minute today and put together a video on a really quick, easy, very efficient way of doing it that you can do at any gait, and it works really well. So one of the things that I see a lot of riders do is they'll have the whip in one hand and they'll reach the top of the handle with this, and they'll kind of do this sword draw like that and bring it down. And that's all well and good if you're riding a really quiet horse that doesn't really care about this kind of motion going on, or your whip, you know, kind of coming across the shoulder to the other side, and you know, maybe even brushing down this side like that. The best technique that I've seen so far that I use every day, because you want that whip in your inside hand for the most part, or you may have to switch it to the outside, but you're switching it back and forth on a pretty regular basis. So the best technique I have learned from my instructors over the years is to hold, first of all, you're holding the base of the whip in your hand and you're closing your fingers around the rein just like you would normally, and you're holding it so that it goes basically across your thigh here. So that's pretty much a bob of it across your thigh that kind of gets that lash to touch the horse behind you. Or if you want more of a touch instead of a little bit of a popping and flicking like that, then you can just rotate your hand so it touches the horse's side. So this is your correct whip holding or carrying position. And to switch it, if I want it in my other hand over here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just turn this hand over so it's straight up, okay? The handle's almost kind of pointing at the withers here. And I can even just pinch this rein here if I want while I grab it and bring it back down over here. So I've switched hands, okay? So that ends up, you know, in a really quick way, kind of looking like this. And you situate it as you go. This works really well because it's almost like the pinch and slide for shortening your reins. You can kind of help, one hand can help the other keep a hold of the reins and not let them slide or anything like that. As you kind of, I'll use my thumb here to push it over like that. As you kind of push it over, rotate your wrist and take it down on this side. It can end up being a pretty smooth transition for you like that. And it works on the go, which is why I love this particular technique. The other technique I've seen that doesn't work nearly as well is where they kind of try to reach around like this and bring it down on the other side. So I see a lot of different things, with the sword draw being the most common one for getting it over. I really love this technique. Makes it so nice and smooth. You know, your horses don't tend to even know it's happening. They may see the lash move a little bit out of the corner of their eye, but most of them aren't too bothered by that, whereas this kind of a motion, you get the zipping sound through your hand. It kind of comes up their shoulder and then comes down on this side. That can be a little bit disturbing for young or green horses, or even just hot horses. This one tends to work really well, keeping everybody quiet and happy. Your hands and your reins stay safe and quiet. You're not moving your upper body this way or that way, trying to reach out and get it moved. So I'm going to take a minute here and just show you here in a couple of different gaits how this is going to look on the go. So there you have it, nice, quick, efficient changing of the whip from one hand to the other for carrying while you're riding. I hope you found this video helpful.